going on, everybody? As you can see, got my championship belt here. Don't have the actual T-shirt, so in the sense of I got black somewhere here, there's somewhere in this Goosebumps shirt for my WWE Elimination Chamber at per review, or just the Elimination Chamber WWE Elimination Chamber 2024 review. Um, this was a good show. This was a good show. If you want to see my wrestling podcast video, go over to that channel and check it out. That's where I did a longer video with some other group of YouTubers. So check that channel out. But more on that later. That's later. We started off with the kickoff show. Picture will be right here with Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae versus the Kabuki Warriors. Now, this match I think was added later. It wasn't. It wasn't originally announced with the other matches. So I think they added like a couple of days before the Elimination Chamber. But this was okay. This was okay for the kickoff. It was okay. I like that Indy got her time to be here. And the crowd really loved Indy. The crowd really loved Indy Hartwell. That's one thing I want to point out is that the crowd was magnificent in Australia. They was magnificent. They showed up. They showed out. I love the crowd in Australia. I really do. I love the Australian crowd, man. They showed out. Especially for their hometown people. This was a okay match. I won't say it was good or great, but it was okay. It was okay too because of the fact that I knew the Kabuki Warriors was going to win, but they built the match. They knew because Indy Hartwell was Australian that they built the match around her with the hot tag and all that type of stuff. But it was a good match in the Kabuki War. Okay match, and then the Kabuki Warriors got the victory. But Indy did get her time to shine. I like that they booked it around her. Giving her that moment. Bronson Reed, from what I was told, I think it was on some backstage news stuff. The reason why Bronson Reed didn't show up or they didn't have him on the card is because my man Bronson Reed and his wife had a child. So, congratulations to them. Now, on to the main show. We got the first match of the night of the main show, which is the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Now, in my opinion, and I'll talk more about this when I get to the men's one, but in my opinion, between the men's Elimination Chamber and the women's Elimination Chamber, the women's Elimination Chamber was actually by this much was a little bit better. That's not to say the men's Elimination Chamber match sucked. It's just that this had just a little bit more. It was a little bit better because it had actual storylines weaving into this match. And, you had people like, Liv Morgan who wants revenge against Rhea. Becky Lynch who has a story with Rhea. You had Raquel. She got a story with Rhea. So, just from a storyline purpose, this match was had like a little bit of build to it. Whereas like I think only all the competitors in the man one, Drew's the only one who actually have a storyline with the person that they could face at WrestleMania. But Becky Lynch, I think Becky Lynch and Naomi started off the chamber, while Bianca, Liv, Tiffany, and Raquel was in the pods. This was a good match. This match, I guess you said pace wise was what it should be for an Elimination Chamber match. but but the ending, when I'm gonna get to it in a minute, was not what it should have been when it comes to pacing, and surprisingly, who was the final three. But yeah, it had your typical elimination spots. I think Tiffany Tiffany was definitely the MVP of this match. Tiffany Stratton's uh, definitely got her flowers. WWE definitely made her look good in this match. But I think I was going to say, and since I mentioned Tiffany, I might as well say said that part here. But Tiffany, I think she took the annual through the pod spot. I think Raquel put Tiffany through the pod. But the crowd, I will say this: Tiffany broke character just a little bit because the crowd up until her, she was the first one off the pod. And I don't even remember this one because of the crowd. The crowd was chanting for Tiffany, like 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 all of them. Like it was overwhelming. They wanted Tiffany. So when the pod, so when it came time for the pod to select someone, she was the first one selected. I like that they put up like the when it shows the above view, they put the WWE 2K24 ratings right there with them. And so Tiffany, it actually went on Tiffany, and when she came out the pod, she embraced the crowd. That's why I said she broke character a little bit because she actually embraced the crowd for chatting for her. But then later on, and I said this in my other video I did of this, that she actually came on Twitter. Like I had just mentioned that, and then she just had tweeted that. Like I'm like, yeah, she actually embraced the crowd, like and stuff like that. She didn't dog them out or nothing. And then she turns around and dogs them out on Twitter or X about saying that they would have chanted more for her. She probably would have won the match. But yeah, Tiffany had her spot, man. She was good. I think Tiffany would get the first elimination. She would get the first elimination by eliminating Naomi. I was surprised that Naomi was the first person eliminated. I did not have her being the first person eliminated. And I'm gonna tell you who I thought in a minute who will be the first elimination, but Naomi would get eliminated first, and then Tiffany would get eliminated afterwards. She would be the second elimination. Um, Raquel would be after that. And then the final three were Liv, Bianca, and Becky. And Liv was the one who eliminated Tiffany. And I'm like, what? Now in my mind, I thought the final three was going to be Bianca, especially with the rumors that it might be Bianca and Tiffany at WrestleMania. I thought it would be, and Tiffany and Bianca did have like a little moment in the chamber where she grabbed her hair again. But for the fact that they gave Liv that spot, that final three spot, and it's not a dig at Liv. I just didn't think that was with Tiffany in the match. I thought it was going to make her look strong. But they actually made Liv look strong because she's a former champion, world champion, so it makes sense. It just was surprising that Liv, like even though I fantasy booked Liv to win, but I knew who was going to win, I didn't think Liv was actually going to make it to where she made it to. But yeah, so in short, it came down to the final three of Bianca, Liv, and Becky. And this is where I didn't like the ending part so much because the way how the ending went was Liv eliminated, she eliminated Bianca Belair. But the sequence went like this. So I think Becky did something, and I forgot what she did. She looked like she was going to do a manhandle slam on Bianca, but Bianca reversed it. something happened. I can't remember exactly. Something happened, and then Liv rolled up. I think after she reversed it, it was like a little space between her and Becky, and Liv rolled up Bianca 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, holy crap! She just pinned Bianca 1, 2, 3, and then so that means the final two was Becky and Liv. So Liv turns around to go deal with Becky, but she turns around right into a manhandle slam, and then 1, 2, 3, Becky Lynch is your winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber. Now, this is what I mean by I didn't like how quick that went. So I don't know if they ran out of time or not, but it was just like literally just like that. It was she reversed Becky's manhandle slam, but then Liv rolls up Bianca 1, 2, 3. After just like literally after the 1, 2, 3, she turns around, manhandle slam 1, 2, 3. Like the referee just got done counting the 1, 2, 3 on Bianca, and then the referee had to jump down right after just to hit the 1, 2, 3 on Liv for Becky to become your winner. And I'm like, see, everything was going up good. It was a little bit of it was weird not to have Tiffany as the final, 3, but this is like she still looked good regardless, but it was still weird. So we were saying who was that? If people been saying who was the MVPs, Tiffany was definitely the MVP of this match. Tiffany was definitely the MVP, but the runner-up to MVP out of everybody was Liv. Like I'm gonna give Liv her flowers too. Like even though Becky won, they made Tiffany and Liv look the best in that match. Tiffany and Liv look better than Becky, Bianca, and Raquel and Naomi. With Bianca being number 3. Like the 3 best, the people they made look the best in that order. And order was Tiffany. That's why she got the MVP. Liv, Bianca, and Becky. They made 4 women look good, and Becky who won was in 4th place. Bianca looked better than Becky, but yeah, Becky Lynch wins. Now that I broke that down to you, I want to do that for the men's one. I took enough time already. We got New Cash Republic. This was the second match. New Cash Republic versus Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. And this was a surprise banger. And what I mean by surprise banger was that this had no build. Like it had build, but it had no build between Judgment Day and New Cash Republic until like maybe this past week or the end of last week, like maybe not this past Friday, but the Friday before, or this week they tried to actually do a build between the two teams. But this really had no build between the two teams. But we get here and they put on a banger of a match, man. This match was Seth Kiss was good. This was a great match. I honestly give it match of the night. That's why I said this was a banger of a match. This actually, without the fact that it had no build between the two teams, this match was match of the night because this was a banger of a tag team match. You had New Cash Republic, which is just Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates' new name, and at several points they looked like they was going to take it. It looked like at several points Judgment Day was going to win. But I swear towards that end, they gave so much build to the possibility, and especially at that moment where they kind of botched it with Tyler Bate giving the Hurricane Rana to Damian Priest, but they kind of botched it. Damian Priest actually it looked like he tripped, where he was supposed to be seen like he flung forward into Finn Balor. but he kind of tripped, so he had to get back up and continue to fleeing forward to like pretend like he hurt Finn Balor. Uh, and then at that moment when Finn Balor was taken out and they hit their finisher on Damian Priest, I'm like, holy crap. I thought they was going to win it. Dominic came out with them. Not to forget him. He did his thing. As the Uber heel got over. I like how when they was doing the introductions, they did the introductions for, the Tyler Bate and Newcastle Republic with, Pete Dunne. And when they got to Judgment, when the announcer was getting ready to announce Judgment Day, Dominic took the microphone from him and tried to do it himself, but the crowd was so much booing him that he couldn't talk. And I don't know man, if they mess with his mic or not, that he could not be heard. Dominic Mysterio did get at one point get ejected for helping him at one point, but he got caught and he got ejected for the match. And I mentioned this part because if you guys was watching and was wondering why when he was getting ejected and then it cut to black for some reason, for a while, and then it just came back. That wasn't a glitch. That was them censoring the crowd because the crowd at that point was cussing out Dominic Mysterio and giving him the finger. They was giving him the finger and cussing him out, so I had to censor that part. But otherwise, this match was good. It was good. We got the Grayson Waller effect, which is nothing too special. It was just, considering what they were trying to build it as. This was more so just Cody Rhodes coming out. And, no, I forgot to mention, too, Judgment Day ended up getting the victory. Sorry. Judgment Day got the victory here. Then we got the Grayson Waller effect where Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes basically coming out, where Seth Rollins announces that he's a few days from being medically cleared, and Cody Rhodes basically, he looked like for a minute was going to talk about what The Rock said to him and what that made him want to step aside, and then why he chose to step back in, even though he just was going to step aside, but he got interrupted by Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Then what Cody would then eventually announce that anytime, because The Rock slapped him, anytime between now and WrestleMania, he wants to have a one-on-one match with The Rock, to get payback for that smack. They try to build something with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory because at a point, Grayson Waller was like talking, and then Austin Theory just snatched the microphone from him, and he was looking like, what the hell? And the crowd was uber booing him. So I don't know, that might be a setup for them two. Then the reason why Austin Theory did that, because then he started trying to be like The Rock, and that led to him getting Cody Cutter and curb stomp. So that was the Grayson Waller effect. It wasn't nothing special. They could have saved this for a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, in my opinion. But obviously, Grayson Waller is the home. It's just like Rhea Ripley, his hometown hero. So yeah. Then we got the men's Elimination Chamber match, which by no means wasn't bad. It just was a little bit slower than the women's, and then didn't really have that many spots. It did have the usual through the chamber spots with Bobby Lashley putting both Kevin Owens and Logan Paul through the chamber. He put Kevin Owens through the chamber he just threw Kevin Owens through the chamber, and then he speared Logan Paul through the chamber. Then Logan Paul had a spot when he dived off the top of the pod onto Randy Orton. Other than that, it was a typical Elimination Chamber match. I'm not about to go through all who got eliminated in order because we pretty much knew who was going to win. Drew did get an elimination. I would mention that Drew did get an elimination with a Claymore. That was Bobby Lashley. The reason why I mentioned that because I think they know I think they doing this for the storyline purposes. But other than that, any other eliminations Drew got, it was like hypocritical because he was mad. It was hypocritical because he's mad at the bloodline for having outside interference be the reason why he and other people got screwed over. But his eliminations came. His other eliminations, other than Bobby Lashley, came at outside interference like AJ Styles cost the LA Knight. Yeah, that happened. AJ Styles got booed uberly for that. Logan Paul would be the deciding factor in how Drew McIntyre will win because he got eliminated by Randy Orton after taking too much time gloating about getting ready to use the brass knuckles, and I like that shot and how he was just like, yeah, I'm about to hit somebody, and then Randy just come out and RKO him out of nowhere, and then he eliminates him, but he was taking too much time to get out. Randy Orton would hit the RKO eventually on Drew McIntyre, but then would turn around and get knocked out by Logan Paul, and Drew would pin Randy Orton to win the Chamber. Yeah, he's going to WrestleMania and to face Seth Rollins for the title. Now, in my opinion, that's where we'll find out if Drew signed a new contract. Because if he wins that match and becomes champion, he signed a new contract. But if he didn't, I don't think he signed a new contract. So there's that. Triple H came out and announced the attendance, and then we got the main event. We got Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. This was good for several reasons, and this was good because wow. Rhea made Nia look great here. Rhea made Nia look super good. She looked great, and Nia's got a history of not being able to be worked with. She got a history of just being that person who injures people. But yeah, she made Rhea made her look great. Nia dominated the majority of the match, but Rhea came back. This is for the women's world championship, by the way. I forgot. I always mentioned that, but I forgot. Rhea did come back eventually, start giving out the punishment, and eventually throughout the match they've been trying to hit the riptide but couldn't. Nia Jax would hit her finisher on Rhea, but Rhea would kick out. Nia would taunt Rhea's family, who was at front row at ringside by the ring, and she would taunt them as she was beating up on Rhea. But Rhea eventually came back and eventually hit the riptide on Nia Jax and got the victory, and she's still your champion and celebrated with the crowd. They did lean into the fact that she was gonna be cheered no matter what. So they made her just for this match the baby face of the match because she really didn't do anything heel. She didn't do nothing heel. She actually celebrated with the crowd. She didn't instead of like making it look like she was gonna shake their hand and go like no. She actually shook hands with the crowd. She took their flag. She celebrated with her home people. So they made her the baby face, and I like that. But yeah, Rhea Ripley wins and she retains the title. This was a good pay-per-view. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 big ups. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought. And if you enjoyed my review, you know to do. You hit this button right there for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. And as always, hit one of these videos for more of my amazing content. And get over to the Wrestling Pit Podcast. Remember, Wrestling Pit Podcast. To see me and the other great YouTubers review in length, in a longer and more deep and longer video than this length about about WWE Elimination Chamber. Peace.